Today's topic is You Are Your Niche, how to stand out in a saturated fitness industry. And I think it's more and more important nowadays than it's ever been before. There are so many people in the fitness industry that you really do have to nail your niche, narrow it down in order to get your voice heard. It's so much more difficult nowadays. Me and Andrew were talking off air about when we started out, like basically neither of us had a niche, did we? We just kind of fell into what we were doing. Like I sort of started out, I did a bit of kettlebells and, I got referrals from friends and stuff and just picked up clients here and there. And then I fell into doing British military fitness very luckily, because that's the only reason I'm still in the fitness industry. I don't think if I'd not worked for British military fitness, I don't think I'd be in the fitness industry anymore. So obviously that is a niche in itself. It was the biggest outdoor boot camp at the time. Obviously it's a military theme. So that is the niche, and people wanted to be trained by ex-service men and women. And it's, very much in the military style, which people enjoy, the camaraderie, the group element of it. So it was very successful at the time. And myself as a non-military personnel, I was very lucky that I happened to be in the right place at the right time and ended up working for them. What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, it's a similar story. Not that I worked for British Military Fitness, but it was again that I qualified, got my first clients through because I was still working in an office at the time. So initially the personal training was my side gig, which then grew up into my full-time gig. But initially it was colleagues that I was working with that wanted to train, which then led to referrals, which then led to other opportunities to get in front of an audience of potential prospects. And even at that stage, it was no defined niche. And as you say, I don't even think I knew of that term at the time. But it was on the journey of no. And I think that was on the journey to determining the type of coaching that I wanted to bring to the table, and mixed in with getting an understanding, which I think you only get through experience on the types of clients you enjoy working with. And then opportunities come your way. And through a client, she referred her husband, who was the leading lawyer on the Isle of Man at the time, that he got success, and then he was referring his lawyer colleagues. So suddenly, over a short period of time, I had a dozen legal practitioners as clients. So that I became known as the personal trainer to the lawyers. So that became that niche. It was business professionals essentially these days. But as you say, it's more important that we have clarity on defining what our niche might be. And hence why this has come up, because it's been a topic of conversation within the Strength Matters community with certain clients, that we're helping them become clear on who they are and what they offer and who they wish to serve.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think even when Strength Matters, we were doing the Everyday Athlete Fit Over 30 a few years back when we first started it. I think at that time, no one was really doing it now. Doing it then rather. But if you look now, there's Fit Over 30, Fit Over 40, Fit Over 50, Everyday Athletes. It's everywhere. That's why we've changed tack once more, and we're doing, when everybody else is zigging, we're zagging. You know what I mean? So when we started it, the Fit Over 30, God, a good 4 or 5 years ago it was when we went down that route. It's changed again now, and you've got to narrow it down even more. And as you say, we're trying to help some of our members do that. But we're going to sort of talk about a couple of people's principles we were getting inspiration from. Tell us about Dan Coe's principle, build for yourself. What's this?
Yeah, I read this and it tied in nicely, which is why we've brought this topic to the conversation, I guess. Dan Coe, I've followed on Twitter for a while. He helps people build, online businesses and grow. So he works with a lot of founders, I think. But he posted this post on Twitter, on X, and it said, let's make this whole one person business thing simple, because he is, a one person business and uses outsources to virtual assistants and the likes. So he said, let's make it simple. 1, build for yourself, 2, write to yourself, and 3, sell to yourself. And his belief behind that was that there's millions of people with the same interests, problems, and desires, and you only need to find a fraction of them. So he felt that, trying to be someone that you perceive others want you to be just makes it a struggle. Whereas if you know what you like, what your interests, hobbies, and passions are, so if you're writing around that when it comes to your content, it's going to resonate with your target audience because there's going to be others out there that have those similar passions and interests. And I felt that really resonated with me. I thought, particularly when it comes to writing content, and I know this within the Strength Matters community, there's struggles. What am I going to write? What do I do when it comes to my content? And if we're brutally honest, well, if we take a step back and think, well, what am I passionate about? Well, that makes it a lot easier then to be able to produce content that's going to be resonating with that audience.
So is that the sort of starting point then, if people want to try and define their niche, just look within and think, okay, what do I love doing? What are my passions and hobbies and interests?
I think so. I think it's a great starting point. And the reason being, as I said, because you know what you like, and it makes it a lot easier then to create the content. We're not having to second guess things. Let's take the what are they thinking about whatever I produce? Because again, that's another. We can go down another rabbit hole there with imposter syndrome and the likes, and we'll do posts on that side of things. But yes, for me, a good starting point: write about what you're passionate about, what you're knowledgeable about, and do it with personality. Lean into it so that your personality shines through, because that's going to be a beacon of light and attract the right type of people.
Yeah. This is something Alex Hormozi also talks about as well, that you are your niche. So it's all about, again, focusing on yourself first. Is that right?
That's right. And he was using some examples. He used Seth Rogen, I think. You'll see him he's got his podcasts. He's got, which he does on political themes. He's got, what else does he do? I've forgotten now. He's got the topics that he's passionate about, but predominantly political posts. And he talks about aliens a lot as well. You can go down a whole rabbit hole there with the conspiracy theory type posts. But equally, if we think about somebody perhaps more in the mainstream, The Rock, he's known for his WWE, his wrestling. He's now got his tequila. Of course, he's a big movie star. So they're his passions. They're the items he leans into, and he can talk at length on each of them because it's coming from the heart. And I think that's in essence what we want to do. It comes from the heart, and that, as I say, will stand us in good stead.
Yeah, and we've got finally one final influence person we're taking influence from. Sorry, Amy Porterfield, and it's all about Amy Porterfield's math. Now, I don't know anything about this at all, Andrew. Probably the listeners don't. So, could you tell us what this is about?
Yeah, Amy is. She's an influencer and a course creator that I've known for a while through connections I've got outside of Strength Matters. She's a successful businesswoman in her own right. She initially worked for Tony Robbins. I think she was Tony Robbins' assistant back in the day. So she got to see firsthand how to tread his path. He's developed into the world's leading self-development coach, I guess. But she was always struggling with her own self-worth and understanding how to overcome, self-doubt and that. But then again, she realized that, hey, I'm a woman who's got passion. I'm a woman who's got drive and determination, and I love being able to help my clients map out their pathway. And the manner in which I do that is I lean into my zone of excellence, which is I'm good at putting systems in place and working to checklists, and I love creating content and I love creating courses. So her sole focus these days is that she sells courses on how to create and sell courses. But she does it in such a way that it's a streamlined approach, full of checklists, and it's a step-by-step process, which a lot of us can learn a heck of a lot from. So that's her map, as she calls it, but it's essentially a marketing map, and it's again zoning in on what you're passionate about, and then delivering it in a manner that you would find interesting, because if you find it interesting, others will as well.
Definitely. And on the next podcast, we're actually going to be talking about some successful females in the fitness industry, so make sure you tune into that one. Andrew, quickly before we wrap up, could you just summarize the key points in how people can find their niche and stand out in the industry?
So yeah, absolutely. In an essence, it's look within. Listen to your heart, lead with passion, lean into the passions and interests and hobbies that you have, and amplify them through the content you create, because that's going to act as a beacon then to attract the right types of people, and ideally those types of people that you wish to be working with.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, mate. That is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And if you want help finding your niche or getting more clients and patients, then book in for your free 15-minute strategy call with us by going to strengthmatters.com/strategy.